So, welcome to Unity Diversity. We're celebrating South Asian Heritage Month, and so thank you to everyone for being here today. We've got some incredible talent here to show you. I've been having a little chat with all these incredible women and artists today just before, and I'm mind blown by the talent and their stories and also their achievements of what they've been able to achieve and who they've been able to impact through their words, through their performances, through through their talent, through their artistry. And these women, all these women are very, very passionate for diversity, for impacting women in empowerment, in diversity. We're impacting other artists, impacting women of South Asian heritage and across the globe. You'll find out soon enough across the globe. And I'm really excited today to share with you all these incredible performances for today. And I was invited to come and present today for the South Asian Heritage Month show. And it got me to reflect a bit on my own heritage. And my father is North Indian and my mother is English. I come from a mixed heritage background. And so as I was growing up, I grew up with the traditional rules of culture, Indian culture, as well as the British values, and found that there was a contrast between the two growing up. And what I've noticed with the artists today is I felt I've deeply connected with each individual artist in their own experience with culture and heritage and how that's impacted their lives and their choices and how it's impacted their lives moving forward and how they express and show this story of the connection to their heritage and a truly powerful connection which maybe once was a story of difficulty or having difficulty to fit in or not quite understanding the full understanding our full heritage being brought up in British culture, for example. So I feel definitely connected to each artist here today, and I really hope and I know that all of you watching here will find some connection within you to each artist and each artist's message. And to kick things off, I'm excited to introduce the very first artist of the show, which is Jess Senanayake. Now, Jess is a very inspiring individual. And she's a performer who explores really deeply about identity, who originally felt that she wasn't connected to her heritage through her mixed heritage. And as she grew and as she explored, she became connected to people, others who are of the South Indian heritage. And she expressed that through her poetry and her performances and through her writing. And I find her personal journey to be truly, truly inspiring about how she shares and truly believes in diversity of all humans and how she expresses her culture in order to convey that message. And today she's sharing a small excerpt from her performance Island Time, which is an auto-fictional piece which is rooted in her own experiences as well as some fictional experiences. And it's really her invitation to you into her own world. It's her reflection on her heritage, on her identity, and how we connect with one another. It just goes far beyond any words that you could ever say. So I'm really proud to introduce today the wonderful Jess Senanayake performing from the Island Time. And I'd like to pass it over. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. What a privilege it is to be here today with you all. Yes, as Tiffany said, I would love to share a little extract from a solo show that I wrote last year with Cryptic Arts called Island Time. I'll let the work speak for itself, but we meet our title character is Suri, just as she has touched down in Colombo. Colombo, Sri Lanka, 2025. Bandaranaike International Airport. White, clean tile. Dry, cutting air conditioning attempts to emulsify with the tropical climate. The border agent furrows his brow ever so slightly when he looks at my passport, as if to say, this white girl, this Sudha, how can she bear such a Lankan name? Isuri. That can't be right. It's only when I gesture to my mum, Mage Amma, that he clocks the resemblance. Can't say I didn't expect this. This is my home and I will not be policed on its belonging. We exit the airport and wait around for our driver. He is nowhere to be seen. Lankans are not known for their punctuality. My mum always reminds me of this every time her brother calls 2 hours after he said he would. That classic Sri Lankan island time. Not like the UK, which runs on huffing and tutting and power walking. It's like time passes differently in the heat here. Not just a time zone thing, like the very fabric of it is different. Do you know how we define a second? Like how we measure how long it is? I read this thing, I saw a TikTok about it, that said time is measured with atomic clocks. Like we measure how long a specific atom takes to decay, and the speed of that becomes a second. Well, maybe the atoms are just different here. Like the seconds are longer, take less time to decay or whatever. There's just this ease here. I don't know how to put it. I can feel it in me, slowing my atoms down even. And for once, I am not resisting. Eventually, our car rocks up. I smile warmly at the driver, who greets us with a welcoming, in his eyes, we are early. Swiftly, I am sandwiched in the back between our towers of luggage as we head for Trincomalee. Mum and the driver are yapping away. I can make out bits of what they're saying. As a child of an immigrant, you always know when you're being spoken about, even if you can't understand. Sometimes I wonder what my life would be like if I could speak our language fluently. Mum said it wasn't valuable living in England, that it wasn't useful for anywhere else. Better to learn French or Spanish. But is there not value in speaking home out of my mouth? Of learning the choreography of my ancestors' tongues, extending their movements across the globe? We pass through bustling city streets with vendors sitting on roadsides shouting their wares. Mum starts to point things out to me and name them. Queso, banana. Balla, dog. Pansala, temple. I notice the more she speaks her native language, the more her shoulders relax, the deeper her breath. She is at ease here in a way I have never seen her. It's wonderful. Colombo pans out into grassy dirt roads that clamber quietly through the mountains. Replacing the hubbub of the city is a chorus of insects and birds I have never noticed before. A daydream about the colours and the shapes of these creatures, how their wingspan changes as they take flight and soar across the valleys. In my comfort, I slip into sleep. The journey could have been 30 minutes, it could have been 6 hours. I couldn't tell you. I rouse to the tips of colourful temples and LED lit Buddhas ornamenting the skyline in the distance. Trinco is in sight. You know the A13? The road from Essex to London? No? Well, there's this bit in Newham where you climb the hill, and at its peak, you can see the whole London skyline. like Canary Wharf and the Shard and the City. And you're thinking, this is magic. And then you get to the bottom of the hill and you're in 30 minutes of standstill traffic before you even reach the ULEZ zone. Well, times that by 10 and you've got Trincomalee. We've been stuck in this gridlock for 3 hours now. I am fast learning that lanes are just a suggestion here. Cars and buses and motorbikes tussle to assert dominance in this slalom, racing for the tiny pocket of space that will only inch them towards their destination. The city mirrors the towering suitcases next to me. 2- and 3-story buildings tightly packed in like a game of architectural Tetris. We pass a motorbike with 2 adults, 2 children, a dog, and a suitcase on it. Not only does this place defy time, it seems to defy the laws of space too. It's getting late, but this place is still so alive. The street-side shops blare music, proudly advertising onto the road under floodlights. I see stray dogs run between pedestrians looking for affection or maybe food. In fact, definitely food. Oh, the food! The scents and sights explode like oil and water in a pan. Fresh curd and treacle, bananas, chicken, vegetable and fish, buns, mutton rolls, prawn vade, kotu roti. I love so much. And Milo is everywhere. It's my favourite childhood drink. Every shop is advertising it. The powder is stacked in massive cans flanking doorways, vats of it churning at bars. How have I missed out on this my whole life? Where Milo is centred, where my culture is centred, where I don't have to explain what it is or hunt for it in the world food aisle. After what feels like an age, we finally arrive at Uncle Sunil's house. No sooner do my feet touch the floor than I am passed between a chorus of aunties like a pinball, each wanting to hug and kiss me and pull my cheeks and my hair. And oh my goodness, look how big you are. You are so grown. I remember you being this high, as if it were an act of God that I had aged in the decades that have passed since I was first here. Somehow, everyone knows everything about me. I suppose it's not hard. I'm the only mixed person here. I stand out like a sore but welcome thumb. Then there are the cousins. The boys are playing cricket in the back garden. The girls are braiding each other's hair. Baby Nimal starts crying because it's far too loud, just as Rohan bolts past me in an epic game of it with Shahani that is sure to end in misery. I see them all bloom in front of me. These people who for so long have been but stories or pictures on the big family WhatsApp. Before I can deep it, Auntie calls me in for dinner, igniting the barrage of cousins in the direction of the table. Once I finally elbow my way to a plate, I feast my eyes on an altar of bowls and Tupperwares, each lovingly presented and prepared just for our arrival. I don't have the words for anything, but I know exactly what they are. There's the mild potato curry, which is flavoured so delicately with pandan. The spicy apple salad that I am told is great Auntie Dawn's special recipe. The fresh and zingy sambal that packs a punch in every tablespoon. The creamy milk rice that cuts through the spice. And of course, hoppers of every kind. These offerings smell and taste exactly like my childhood. Every forkful is a hug, is to say, welcome home. I will never let this meal end. I will savour it to the end of me, dividing each scoop again and again, like in physics with the half-life of atoms. I will keep this going and going and going, and I refuse to let it die. After several second helpings, I swear it is impossible to say no to Auntie. We wave goodbye to the family as they leave. Even Rohan and Shahani, who did end up falling out over who got the last piece of Kevin, seem to be happy now. I spot Uncle Sunil falling asleep in his armchair, contented. I head back towards our bedroom to grab my toiletries to shower. Of course, there is no aircon here. It is a sticky, wet furnace. I noticed Mum putting her sandals back on. Where are you going? My mother always took a walk after every meal. She said it was to aid digestion. Will you join? Thank you, everyone. That is a little snippet.
Wow, 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 wow. That was incredible. That is, I definitely, yeah. And we have I felt like I was transported, and I see here Claire's also made a comment saying that she felt like she was transported with you. She's African aunties act the same. Also, Milo, love, love, love. It's so true. It's so true. And Renee said that was a wonderful performance. And Robin said that was beautiful. How can we see the full, how can we see the full performance? I would, and you can answer that, Jess. I mean, you're on mute for, and how do we need to take
Ah,
your
yes.
feedback?
How can you see the full performance? That is a really good question. Well, hopefully, Robin, someone will produce it soon. I have not had a massive amount of time to develop this year because I've been super duper busy with other projects. But next year, I'm hoping to put on a full run of it at as of yet unannounced London venue. But when that is announced, I shall certainly pass it your way.
Yes, please. I'm sure we all want to know exactly where you'll be performing, and so we can follow your story through to the end. I felt I really truly connected with your story, and how you perform with so much expression and passion and emotion, and it really makes you feel like we're right beside you. You're incredibly talented, and Kimberly also says thank you. That was absolutely wonderful. Um, and you are such, and Marcy says that this was fab. Jess, you're such a boss storyteller. It's true. You are a boss. And Julie has asked if you will make it a book.
I would love to make it a book. I would love that. I would love to make it a TV show, or a movie. It's it's I just got to cook. I just got to cook with it. Um, all in good time.
Got to cook, got to create, and yeah, and share your amazing message with the world, because when we were speaking earlier, and even through your performance, you can see how deeply passionate you are about spreading your message and spreading what your lessons through your message. And I was wondering if perhaps you'd share a little bit of light on why you produced today's Island Time, and why it's important to you today.
I think like you said at the beginning of the beginning of our time together today, this piece is auto-fictional. So some of it is very truthful to me and some of it is very, very much made up. But I think uh who was it that said Julie? Your comment sort of hits the nail on the head here. Like language is so important. And I think I speak a couple of different languages, and it's a real passion of mine. But I think I'm really interested in how language brings people together and also divides, and but it also how it is to bring language in is to empower, and I think that ranged true for Island Time in twofold. The first being it is the story of somebody learning their language, and that being a physical thing as well as like a mentally taking on the notes, but also learning the language of how to exist in another culture that is somewhat unfamiliar to them. It's that, but it's also like um, yeah, showing how language can help someone find themselves. I think yeah, I'm really interested in multilingual writing. So, and how that can help bridge cultures and people. So, yeah.
It was really beautiful. It was very, very beautiful. And I missed Julie's comment. She said language is so important. Words break down barriers, and just your words are wonderful, like rain on a dry, dry field, bringing refreshment and life. I love the different atomic time. So credible. Thank you for this, Jess. And thank you so much. And thank you so much for your performance today. I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I hope at the end of at the end of all the performances, we'll have even more time to perhaps talk about your journey and talk even more about your performances. I can't wait to hear more.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Jess. Thank you so much. And now I would like to now have the privilege of introducing our second performer for today, the very incredibly talented Divija Melally. And she is here today and she's a trained contemporary South Asian classical dancer and is currently on tour actually. And she will be showing a clip of her show Marriage. And what Divija combines is a contemporary dance and also the cultural. It's called Bharatanatyam. It's a text and a theatre, and she's interested in sort of creating works that explore women empowerment, human diversity, and she wants to offer new perspectives to her audience so that they open up their minds and they can connect with a much deeper story without words. And I don't know if any of you have ever come across Divija before, but she also works with elderly people who have Parkinson's disease, and she combines dance with the patients who have Parkinson's to help support them through their time, through their treatments, and through their life, through living, through performance. And it really kind of draws into something deeper than also words, but through movement and through creative spaces and through performance and dance and movement. And so Marriage actually combines this movement of vocabulary of Bharatanatyam, contemporary dance with spoken text, some rhythmic syllables in there, and some South Asian cultural music. And she's going to explore the themes of discrimination, particularly based on gender and cultural and mainstream stereotypes. So it's really interesting because it's about finding the opposites. And the irony is that she presents it putting one in female form on the pedestal while trying to sort of destroy the other. And it allows those two distinct movement and languages and stories to be both universal and personal. And it really gives a voice to her concepts and to these stories and to the diversity and the bigger message that Divija has to portray. And she's with us today. She's on tour, so she's been working really hard, but she's with us today to share an extract of her performance, Marriage. And I am absolutely honored to be introducing Divya today. So I would like to now move on to a performance, or first of all, Divya to introduce herself.
Hi everyone. Tiffany, I think you did such a great job. I don't think there's anything left to say. But yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to present it today. I thought it would be better to see a video, which Marcy will play in a minute. But I think it's just excerpts from a show that I'm still making, so it's not a finished piece. But yeah, like everything Tiffany said, it sort of looks at the opposites of like worshiping the goddess, but also discriminating against girls or women, and yeah, looks at these ironies and contrasts. And I want to develop it further and take that further to nature and how we, yeah, confer these titles of like Mother Nature, Mother Earth, but then as the heat is saying right now, we're in a process of like destroying that as well. So yeah, so I think looking at those ironies, but yeah, we can watch the video if you're ready to. Worship the goddess, female. Kill the girl child, female. Di me ta ka 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 di ta ka di me kira tom ta tai de tai ta kira ta kira tom tai de tai ta ka disco kira tai de tai kira ta kira tom ta tai de tai ta kira tom tai de tai ta ka disco kira tom tai de tai.
I love my daughters, but I'm glad I have a son.
Wow. Wow. I, wow. What a beautiful, beautiful performance. I felt I was completely dialed in to your movements, the sounds, the different layers of movement and audio which you combined together to con portray this incredible idea. And we'll see Renee's a wonderful performance, Divija. I loved that. So elegant and beautiful. And it really was incredibly beautiful. Marcy says, this was brilliant. I felt like you really guided us through with your movement. I loved this.
Thank you.
It
Yeah.
was beautiful. And I know this is part of a project that is that you're still putting to in the process of putting together, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hopefully want to put it together, still working out the logistics. So, yeah, this was like sort of an initial research phase, and these were some of the ideas that came out. But even while watching it, I was like, "Oh, make notes, make notes." But I think, yeah, definitely love to develop it more. And I do like using a lot of text in my work as well. So, yeah, and build more on the text as well. Yeah.
I just Kuli says mesmerizing and you tell a story.
Thank
And
you.
it really does feel that you are trying to tell a story.
Mm.
And I was wondering if maybe you could share a bit about that story.
Yeah, I think it's like I'm trying to find like a joyous vein, but I think it was kind of like a sad note that made me start making this piece around, yeah, just realizing around like the discrimination and for me as well, like I am the only girl child in my family, and I have to say my family are amazing. They've never made me feel any of this. But I do feel that a lot in society. So people would always go, "Oh, so you're the only girl child." And it's almost like a disappointment because if you don't have a boy in the family, is yeah, sort of seen as like something that there's not something there to carry on the family name, or yeah, people just want that. And did some more research, and I think a lot of the things I didn't know sort of clicked into place around I always knew that in India, whenever someone's having a child, you're not allowed to know the gender of the child until the child is born. And I never thought of why. I just thought that was the norm. And then I moved to the UK and I was like, oh, you do get to know. And sort of did research into that. So it was like a backwards thing and found the reason that, yeah, if people find out it's a girl, then basically, yeah, they're not happy and they try and get rid of the child. So yeah, so it was like sort of this heartbreaking realization and a lot of other things that clicked into place. And then realizing there's a section in the video that we saw around like the goddess, and the goddess is portrayed as this like amazing, powerful being. She has like 8 arms, she kills demons, and yeah, sort of the irony of someone being so putting the female form like on such a powerful pedestal, and then almost on the other end it's the helplessness and it's the same female form, and that irony really stayed with me, and I think that was sort of the starting point really. Yeah.
But it's it's an incredible, and it really truly does convey that
Mm.
story, and very beautiful. And I just share another comment from Judy. She says, a wonderful introduction with the rhythm beat. I love how the energy changes and tells the story so well. Your movements create a language of their own, and the words supplement that rather than dominating it.
Mm.
For a piece in development, it looks remarkably polished.
Oh, thank
Totally
you.
agree with that. So I agree with all this, by the way. And how do you want to continue the work?
Mm.
What was your inspiration to prompt to create this particular project?
Yeah, yeah, I think the question came in as I was speaking about the inspiration, but I think thank you. That's really kind, a very kind comment. I think in terms of continuing it, I think just refining the storytelling more. Sometimes, especially with dance, I'm always conscious of things can be really clear in my head, but sometimes they can be quite abstract, and it's not a bad thing for it to be abstract. But I do love to play with the level of how much the audience get, how much what story are they getting. I usually don't do anything like in a narrative way, but still try and give something. So I think I want to sit more with the piece and see how, yeah, how the narrative threads in, and also to see how different stories can come in, because I think this, whatever we saw, was just based on a little bit of research I did and reading, but I think I would love to have interactions with people, not just from South Asian culture, but like different cultures, and also look at like how there's the goddess, the story that I have taken, if there are similar things in other culture that come from, like I've recently been reading a lot about like Celtic cultures and all these stories they have about women, um, and yeah, women and goddesses as well. So yeah, I would love to build more of that in and build more of nature and a connection to nature in as well as it goes on. Yeah.
Right. No, thank you so much. It's absolutely a wonderful project.
Thank
We
you.
all look forward to seeing more from you, and beautiful, beautiful performance. And thank you so much. And I'm so excited, everyone. I know we've all been amazed so far, haven't we, by each artist that has shown up today. And we now have the final artist for today, poet Dr. Kuli Kohli. And wow, Kuli is an incredible human being with incredible achievements which she's shared with us. And she actually runs a South Asian women's writers group, and she co-hosts a live literature show called Virtual Voices. And she's also battled with mild cerebral palsy, yet found a way in her younger years to typewrite and actually learn and find a way to write and convey her most inner thoughts and her feelings. And she's achieved such a great deal in her life through sharing her words and her stories, and even in her life as a council worker, a mother, and a writer. I mean, she Coodie's even appeared on BBC Sunday Morning Live and Poetry Please, which she's absolutely drawn global attention through her books called Her Patchwork and A Wonder Woman, which we're going to hear from today. These are published books, and in 2022, she was awarded an honorary by the University of Wolverhampton. And in March 2024, the National Portrait Gallery actually acquired a photograph of her and has put it by the likes of photographs like Anna and Chabra, Shakespeare she mentioned as well. And almost recently, in February 2025, she was selected as Rebecca Swift Foundation Creative Associate for Wolverhampton. Whew. I mean, I think there may be, I think even so, there's another one in May 2025. She actually gave a lecture at the University of Dortmund in Germany on writing and disability. So Dr. Cooley has absolutely created such an impact through her words when once upon a time she wasn't even sure how she was going to do that. And to hear her amazing story, and I'm so looking forward to hearing her poetry today live. And at, at least, and the final, I'm happy to have the honor to introduce you all to uh, Dr. Kuli Kohli. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for that introduction. So, yeah, I could not speak in public until, say, about 2018, when my patchwork was published. And it was scary because of my cerebral palsy. I thought nobody's gonna understand what I'm saying. Nobody wants to know what my life is. So I thought, okay, I'm going to write about my life through poetry. It was easier than speaking. I used to type out everything because I can't. When I handwrite, I can't even read my own writing. So, so this is what I'm going to start with my ID poem, which is called The Rag Doll, and it's in Patchwork, my debut pamphlet. So it's called The Rag Doll, and it's to fellow rag dolls living with cerebral palsy. Look, linen, velvet, cotton, wool, made from all sorts, textures, fabrics, buttons, ribbons, hips made from zips, so daisy and fall into bits. Her heart is made of golden fluff. Her smile is stitched shining bright. Now and again she's not there quite. Her spirit shines like ultraviolet light. Droops, dangles, her limbs and neck, durable to all types of wear and tear. Broken, damaged, here and there. People stare, she just does not care. Battling, juggling impossibilities, shining diamond sequined eyes, always ready to give you a surprise. Like a cartoon, she'll always survive. Has trouble with her physical being. Words tangle in the laces of her head. Still figuring out what you've just said. Jerking, jolting to the day she's dead. And in 2020, no, because of the Paralympics, I thought a big piece of writing about disability, and the last 4 lines of my poem were published in my book. So this is the last 4 lines of our Paralympics. Let your eyes see beyond your mind. Surprise yourself with what you find. Let your thoughts go beyond restriction, delusion. Imagine a world we all fit in as one, all inclusion. And the next poem I'm going to read was on Poetry BBC Radio 4, and this drew a lot of attention. And it's a short poem. It's not like big. And it's called Born Drunk. As I walked down the street, old Asian women began to think. They stared at me head to feet. She's had too much to drink. Babbling nonsense. I wasn't torn. Yes, I said, God sent me tipsy, drunk. A party before I was born. Desperate for oxygen, but drank whiskey. And this next poem is about my wedding day. On the day I thought would never come, because who wants to marry a disabled woman? So this has got some Hindi words in it, Punjabi. Lehenga is a Indian dress usually worn at weddings, and Mehndi is henna that you put on your hands. So this is called Wedding Day. The air carried a spicy chill on this auspicious autumn morning. I, the centre of attention, dressed in saffron gold lehenga, in shades of liberty, new beginnings, like the mehndi on my hands. On the day I thought would never come. In every colour of the rainbow, all guests arrived at the register office to witness our vows. like a poetry reading. I was bursting, trembling in happiness, petrified. Could I do this? Could I say it out aloud? Was I sure that this was the match made in heaven, just for me, or just an escape? In a smiley daze, hazy thoughts ran wild, like clouds of cosmic energy. Could someone really accept me as a wife? Maybe as a sacrifice? I listened to a promise of a man who silently spoke through his eyes. I stood next to him, heartbeat like clockworks, opening a new chapter of life, of caring, sharing, of mutual respect. And as the innocent ivory stars draped us together. After the vows had been spoken, I was handed his wedding ring. With a sudden spasm and a jerk, I dropped it. My heart stopped. The room echoed in delightful surprise and laughter as we watched the gold ring roll away like a penny, like a dream. Was this an omen or some kind of sign? Or was it a taster of what was coming, of what to expect? Now, after a quarter of a century, he still chases, picks everything up I've dropped, including me.
That was incredible.
And the next one is called, I got some Punjabi words in it. Fire are ankle dolls. Bindi is the thing that you wear on your forehead, like a jewel. Salwar kameez is a Punjabi dress. Fire. These tempting ankle dolls, like the bangles on my arm, like my vibrant powder and paint, like the bindi on my forehead, like my twinkling jewellery, like my embroidered salwar kameez, like the clinking of dishes, endorsing, defining, approving my beauty as a woman. Bells upon my ankles keep me faithful. Bells upon my ankles keep me cultured. Bells upon my ankles keep me from escape. Bells upon my ankles keep me anchored. Bells upon my ankles steal my liberty. Bells upon my ankles keep tabs on me. Bells upon my ankles a meaningless sacrifice. When I dance, I jingle. When I walk, I tingle. When I sit, I dangle dingle. When I'm in a crowd, I mingle. When I'm alone, I'm single. With you, my love, I shine. I am silent, simple, and divine. Now, the last poem is, in a nutshell, my life story. It's called Survivor. Entered the world like an uninvited guest. I hid away, embarrassed. I was a disgrace. Flawed, I survived this sentence, a tough test. A child who was compared with all the rest. I was different, an alien from outer space. Entered the world like an uninvited guest. Benefits, wages kept me together dressed. I was a cash point, abused without a case. Flawed, I survived this sentence, a tough test. On display to men for marriage suppressed. I was a British visa for Asian men to chase. Entered the world like an uninvited guest. A lucky escape, rescued by a husband, blessed with a family that I could love and embrace. Flawed, I survived the sentence, a tough test. My dreams came true, and all were impressed. A valued writer, poet, working mum, a place. Entered the world like an uninvited guest. Flawed, I survived the sentence, a tough test.
Yay. Thank you so much, Dr. Cooley. That was incredible words and poetry. I really loved when you talked about your personal experience. Also, we have some amazing amazing comments here. Renee said, a lovely performance, Cooley. Your poetry is interesting and engaging and was delivered perfectly. Thank you for sharing it with us today. Absolutely amazing. Robin said they were beautiful. Absolutely. Julie said, this has been a lovely evening. Thank you all so much. Marcy, I loved hearing about the different areas of your life that you've explored through poetry. I especially loved Wedding Day. Me too. So many feelings ring through, but joy was the loudest to me. And Kimberly said, absolutely lovely poems. Divya says, your words made me smile. So much warmth and hope. Thank you. Claire says your writing is impactful and thoughtful and thought-provoking. Thank you for sharing your stories and experiences in this way. And I'm so honored to have listened to you read your poetry through your incredible books and hear about your experiences. And I especially love the Wedding Day poem also. And I'm really looking forward to hearing even more beautiful poems from you, and I can't wait. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely incredible, and it's been incredible with the three performers, and thank you so much. And Cooley, just before we wrap it up, before we wrap it up for the end of the day, because I don't think we're going to have it. Just before we wrap it up, the end of the day, is there anything you would like to add is there anything you've got coming up in the near future with your performances or with your
This is my last for the summer. I'm having a break next month. I've been really busy over the last few months, and it's draining, but I love it. But I hopefully I'm going to get a new book out in the autumn, so look out for that.
We'll be watching, and we'll be watching and following along the rest of your journey and your story, because wow, you have been incredibly inspiring, and look, you've got 2 published books and they're incredible, and you've got incredible poetry, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing today. We absolutely have loved the experience. And just to wrap up, I would love to thank you for everyone who's attended in today's event. I would like to thank the interpreter and also the fundraisers who are able to make this event possible and allow each artist to showcase their talent and their message here today for the South Asian Heritage Month. And thank you so much to the team who have brought this show together. Thank you so much to the artists and Unity in Diversity also. And thank you to everyone involved in this fabulous event. And thank you all today. I cannot wait for next year. And I cannot wait. And make sure to follow the artists further with their story through Instagram. I know I will be. And yeah, and feel free to leave your comments. And if you have any questions for the artists, we'll be happy to sort of put them forward for you. And feel free to get in touch with them individually as well. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.